and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club with 4 race starts. We're going to start with our Category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our Category 1 riders. In green, our Category 2. In blue, Category 3. And Category 4 in red. Pressure on the riders at the moment as we go up here in with Ursula Kasani. As we go up over the bridge, just seeing 1 or 2 riders start to get pushed to the back of the group. You've got to react, and you've got to react fast. On the front in Category 4, our leader on the road, number 1 of all the riders still left racing at this stage on the Sunday Race Club, into the climb here already at 22.3k and starting to open a pretty substantial gap. You've got a big group here of leaders in Category 4, and that says to me at the moment in Category 4 that they're now thinking about what they're going to do between here and the top. This is pacing. This is sitting at a pace. This is not attacking just like some gung-ho lunatic. So this really is smart riding.
Kolchinsky's in P1. She's 12 seconds ahead of Fua. Then this is the chase group with Koinstinen, Holdcroft, Menenses, MacArthur, and Soderstrom is just off the back. Piccolo pushes on here, Hilberg and Beltran doing the chasing. Takana's just distance from that group as well. So this is absolutely unfolding on these final stages of the Paso Alto today in Category 3.
London, though, here really putting the pressure on Smithers. They've cracked Hermansen, the polka dot skin suit wearer. There is time for her to come back, but it is running out fast. Can Bergin do anything about Hill in these last few meters? Hill is kicking, Hill is pushing, Hill has got the sprint here. Philippa Hill is going to take the win here. First rider over the line, Category 3, Philippa Hill.
Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. We are here today for the finals of July 2024, and boy is it going to be good. The races throughout July have given us a flavour of what is to come today, and I'm going to take you through all of the action today. My name is Emma Martin and you're going to be with me all of the way. Well, the women today are heading to Australia. We have only raced this course twice so far in 2024, and take a look at that. So they're in Wollongong, 35 kilometres of racing, 502 metres of climbing, and the Wollongong climb comes twice. You can see this is a lapped course. So a flat start that goes into that first climb, and that first climb is around 7% as they then roll through the City Beach Sprint, and at 9.7 kilometres hit the Wollongong climb for the first time. 2.1 kilometres of climbing, 4.8% average gradient, but do not let that convince you this is easy, because those climbs hit 17%. Well, 4 groups of riders down on the start line. Our Category 1 riders in yellow will be the last riders out of the pen today. Category 2 in green, Category 3 in blue, and our first group of riders away today for the July final, well, that is Category 4 in those red jerseys. Now, final team competition as well as individual competition. So teams today in Category 4, Intercontinental, Flores, Bele, Paolo and Tanglian. The pedal dancers, Arias, Schultz, Filder and Bago. Petit 4 squad, well, they took the win last month. Will they do this month? We'll talk a little bit about them later. The Phoenix squad, I think, are also in the mix today. Kirchner, Narvaez, Sarasu and Ferron. And then the strong girls, Valencia, Alvarez, Solizano and Barco. Well, this is going to be a really cracking race today. Everything to play for in the July final. So we're in with Kirchner as the go takes place. The lights are green. The riders are away. The July final in this women's race out in Australia on the Wollongong course. The riders are up and they are out of the start pens as one big group. Now, 26 riders on the start sheets today in Category 4. And, well, the Petit 4 squad here, and they have been dominant all month of July, as well as dominant in that final last month, but they were then on the Yebel Yace. The Petit Four squad last month took top spot from the strong girls by 1 minute 19 seconds. Now, that team competition, the top 3 riders in the team, their time is added together to give the team competition. And then those times are compared to see who comes in first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Well, the Petit Four squad took top honours last month, and indeed there they are on your screen today. So Natalia Idzik, Kirsten Hamilton and Nikki Lloyd, all on your screens at the moment, part and parcel of that Petit Four squad. Now, Nikki, 5th this month, she's taken a 5th spot. Hamilton's taken a 1st and 2nd, so she is a rider really on form. Idzik, a 1st, a 3rd and a 4th. Well, the question today is, can any of these teams come up with a strategy that can beat the Petit Four squad today? That is going to be very interesting to watch unfold over the next hour or so. Well, Kirsten Hamilton comes right to the fore of the group as she leads the group through and out of that pen. They're 1 kilometre now into this 35-kilometre race, and Tanglian, she's part and parcel of that leading group. She's a strong rider, Rona Tanglian. We've seen her put in some phenomenal performances riding for the Intercontinental squad today. Strong team again. In fact, all 5 of these teams are strong teams in this category, and it is going to be a really interesting team competition, not just an individual competition today. Well, push coming on the front now, and we're seeing Juliette Narvaez, the rider on the front, just being picked up by Isabel Alzate as she goes up and over the top. Now, this bridge is the start of the climb. They come in over the water, and you can see the gradient on the screen there, and you can also see the gradient on the top right hand corner of your screen, because that gives you the image of what is in front of our riders. So 9% at the moment. This group, wow, all together at the moment, there's a little bit of a stretch. We've seen 1 or 2 riders distanced from the start pen, but at the moment, Ferron, Bago, Lloyd, Kirchner, Barco, Narvaez, Filder, Bremner, all in the mix here. Cynthia Narvaez is on our screen at the moment. You can see the concentration, because this is a key moment in this race. This climb in the early stages here, really one of the places we see attacks on this course. And you can see how important this climb is, because, well, it is part and parcel of that run in to the finish later. So Narvaez, Hoyos there in the mix. Hamilton, Bago, Fielder, Arraius, Barco, all here too. Idzik is in the mix as well. This group moving strongly together at the front. It's looking like, you can see on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, 3 riders, I think, distance from this leading group, which puts, by my mind, 16 riders clear at the moment in the leading group of Category 4. Well, we said Category 4 were the first group of riders up and out of the start pen today. That is the case because the next group of riders away will be Category 3. They start 5 minutes after Category 4. Category 2 will start 5 minutes after that, and then the last group of riders out of the pen will be Category 1. Well, the teams today in Category 3, the can-do crew. We've got Vasquez, Herrero, Bergin and Beltran. That is going to be a strong squad. The Caramello Koalas, the Gear Goddesses are here as well. Marin, Lopez, Giuliano, Vink and Tompkinson. Grind My Gears, well, they were first squad last month. Holwala, Montoya, Takanas, Kokkonen and Piccolo. Regular viewers will know those names. The July team, the Pedal Pals. 28 riders on the start sheets in blue, and the final seconds tick, and away go Category 3. They are up and out of the start pen. One big pack of riders. 28 riders on the start sheets today in Category 3 as they sweep out of the start pen and onto the course here in Australia. So the Wollongong course here in Australia, 35 kilometres of racing, 502 metres of climbing facing these races today. And that really comes in the form of two main climbs. The Wollongong climb, it is steep, 2.1 kilometres of climbing, an average gradient of 4.8%, but it's two climbs with a descent and a transition section, which makes that average gradient really very little information for our riders. The first kicker will kick to around 10%. They then descend and drop into the transition before the climb kicks again. And the steepest part of the second section of the climb, 17%, coming very close to the top, where they will see the polka dot banner signifying the end of the segment. So all the riders out of the start pen cleanly in category 3 and all still together in one large group. In with Grind My Gears. Now, this was the team that were first place in the team competition last month. Hohweiler, Montoya, Kekkonen and Piccolo. And you can see the look of concentration on their faces at the moment. They're coming onto the bridge. They will take the right-hand turn, then that will sweep them on to the climb. It goes left, it goes right, it goes over the water, and the gradient starts to kick. So the teams here, Petit Fours took the win in category 4. Grind My Gears on your screen took the win in category 3 in June. Will we see that take place again? That team competition in category 3 is going to be really strong. So Montoya took a first and a second last month. Tucanas took a fifth, and Piccolo has taken a fourth place. Those three riders are part and parcel of that Grind My Gears squad. The Can-Do crew, I think, are going to have something to say about it today, because Vasquez and Herrero, part and parcel of that squad, but Bergin has had a second and 2 fourths, and Lorena Beltran has had 2 third places. So strong team there as well. I wouldn't discount the Caramello Koalas either. Hyde, Jones, Chudwekazik and Kennedy could well put something out today, as well as the July team. De Silva's had a fifth, but Alzat, De Gracia and Zugala also ride very strong. Well, coming up onto the top of the climb, it's short, it's sharp, and it's early. And you can see on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen the damage it's done to that category 3 group. It was one tight ball of riders going into the base of the climb. It's stretched now as they come through the banner. We've got a couple of gaps now appearing at the back end of the group. It's looking like 2 or 3 riders in danger. The expectation may well be that any rider quite close to the back of the group could well catch on with a bit of a push, but I'm not sure we are going to see those riders back in contention. Well, in the group, having made that transition, Bergin, Simkin, Beltran, Alzat are all there. Vasquez, Kennedy, Tompkinson, they are all in the mix. So is Rosa Herrero, Novelin Kekkonen. They are in that front group in category 3. Well, category 3 on the left-hand side of your screen, category 4 on the right-hand side of your screen. Category 2, they are in the start pen alongside category 1 on the top of your screen. Category 2, the green jerseys are going to be the next group of riders out of the start pen on the staggered starts today. Category 2 in the mix today, 28 riders. This is a big pack of riders as well today on the start sheets, and a lot of teams. The Globetrotters are here. Strong squad. Wagner's had a first place. Prado's had 2 fifths. Western Yaramillo and Vittoria joining them. The Sprockets, Hadlock, Johnson and Barragan. The Sunday crew, Dana Davidson, Esler, Van Shaw and Gorea. The Wanderers are here. Bonella, Litton's had a second. Mabin and Whitelaw could be very strong. The Veloso Raptors, Walkenhurst, Smithers, Kong and McAlpine, they've got to be one of the favourites. But the Velocity Vikings took the win last time in the team competition. Hermansen, Svardstrom, Embring, Montgomery and Lundin, and they have been on form this month. Away go, category 2 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. This is the July final. We're in Wollongong in Australia, and the big group of category 2 riders swing out of the start pen and out on to this challenging course. So 7 teams here today. And Philippa Hill moving up from Category 3 into Category 2. It's going to be interesting to see how she goes. We know she climbs really, really well. But this is going to be new territory for Hill. She's part and parcel of the Wanderers with Bonilla, Lytton, Mabin and Whitelaw. It's going to be a good squad for her to test her legs with. Lytton has had a second place this month, and we know Mabin and Whitelaw are strong. So Hill joining that team is going to be an interesting mix. Now, the Velocity Vikings, we talked about those very briefly at the top of the show whilst the riders were in the start pen. Hermansen's had a third place this month. Svalstrom's had a fourth and a fifth. Julia Montgomery's taken a win. So has Sarah Lundin. She's had a first place and a third place. They have got to be the marked squad today. Well, the Sunday crew, Kelsey Jade Van Shaw is one of the riders, part and parcel of that team. And I'm sure they have got tactics in place to see how well they can go today and whether they can pick up the top spot in that team competition. It was close in this category last month. The Velocity Vikings taking the win from the Globetrotters by 46 seconds. And when you bear in mind, it's those top 3 riders in the team whose times are added together. It was a close race in Category 2 on the Yebble Yace in June. I think it's going to be a close race today on Category 2 in Wollongong in Australia as well. Last time we were in Australia for the Wollongong course, that was back in qualifier 1 in May, and it was a 59-minute, 52-second winning time in Category 2, and it was Lam Kong that time who took the win. She's part and parcel of that Velociraptors squad. Well, will she be on the front again today? This is the push on the climb into the city, and it's Philippa Hill who is right at the front of this. Wagner is there, so is Hermansen, Montgomery, Van Shaw, Lytton, Vittori. They are all in the mix, and we're in with Anna Embring at the moment, and you can see the push on the group. Now, we are seeing a slight stretch on this group, but we are not seeing the damage done to the group that we saw in Category 4 and Category 3. So are we going to see this group all squeeze back together again? I'm sure the riders on the back of this group are now pushing on those pedals, trying to ensure they get back into the mix. Well, the Velocity Vikings are on our screen at the moment. Embring, who we said was part and parcel of the squad. Julia Montgomery already with a first place under her belt this month. Sarah Lundin with a win and a third. The look of concentration here, as we mentioned before, the key section of the course, a tactical section of the course. Really great to see these riders in the mix. Take a look at that. Just looking like one rider distanced off the back and unable to stay with the early pace in Category 2. Embring, the rider we are in with at the moment, just shifting to Kim Bonilla. Bonilla on our screens, and it's her information that you're seeing on the screen in front of you. So on the top middle section of your screen, you can see the rider we have highlighted in blue on the right. There is their watts, the time elapsed, their heart rate and their cadence. And every time we change rider on the right hand side of your screen, it will be different stats you will see. Well, the last group of riders underway today are Category 1. These are the elite category riders. These are the riders whose names you may well see at the World Championships in October. 5 teams on the start sheets today. The Afito Skier squad. They are a strong team. Cowman, Menenzes, Bassoni, Giovanni and Field. Ablock International, Holdcroft, Larson, Penner and McCarthy, fully calibrated, the peak performers and the sweat sensations, now fully calibrated, Engstrom, Tidholm and Kasani, peak performers, Bjarhead, Sidlick, Van Hove and Kolczynski, the sweat sensations, Velt, Thua, Bruni and Koinstenen. 21 riders on the start sheets in Category 1 today. And this is going to be a battle royale. Away go Category 1. The last group of riders away on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. July final today. Just twice this year we have visited this course for the women's race. So third time lucky for some. Well, there's not going to be a lot of luck needed today. It's going to be tactics, nous, power and strategy that is going to play out in front of us on our screens. This Category 1 group of riders, 21 riders in total, and there have been some phenomenal performances right the way across this race field this month. So Jacina Menendez, she's had a third and a fifth, part and parcel of that Afito skier squad. Fourth place for Maria Holdcroft, part of Ablock International. Her teammate McCarthy has also had a fourth place as well. Tidholm from the Fully Calibrated squad has picked up fifth this month. Kulczynski from Peak Performers, well, she's had a first, a second and a fourth, so a rider on strong form. Now, the Sweat Sensations, they picked up the top spot from the final in June from the Peak Performers, but a Fito skier here, Menendez, Kalman, Bassoni, Giovanni, and Field, all on your screen at the moment, I think really could well be in contention today. It's a real mix. Menendez from Colombia, Kalman from Poland, Bassoni from Italy, Giovanni from France, and Field from Australia. It's a real international group of racers coming together today on the Sunday Race Club. So we were talking about the Peak Performers and Kulczynski's performance. That team finished second last month, 1 minute 44 seconds behind the Sweat Sensations. They've had some strong rides as well this month. Fu has picked up 2 firsts and a second. She really is a rider on great form, the Swiss rider. Bruni from Germany, 2/3, part and parcel of that pack. Koisen's been riding strongly as well. She picked up a 5th place last week in the competition as well. So all on form at the moment, and I think this is going to be a really strong team competition today. And I think really we've got 3 teams in this today: Ablock International, Peak Performers and Sweat Sensations, but I've been known to get it wrong before. So Category 1 on the left-hand side of your screen, they're up and over the first climb section that caused trouble for some of the other categories. But that pack all still together. It's a tight group of very consummate performers in Category 1. On the right-hand side of your screen, we're in with Category 3. They're at 8.2 kilometres into this race, and they've been through the City Beach Sprint for the first time. A strong group of riders there. In fact, it's Gina de Gracia from the July squad who set the fastest time through that sprint so far in that pack. 21 riders going through, 22, 23. Oh, yeah, they are indeed all spread out. The Category 4 riders also out on the course. Now, they were the first category to start today. They're at 10.3 kilometres now into their race. They've been through the first sprint section, and they are now on the first ascent of the Wollongong climb. So you can see on the top right-hand corner of the screen of the Category 4 riders, the profile of the climb in front of them. They're about to come to the top section of the first part of the climb. They'll then descend into the trough at the bottom and transition onto the final section. It's Louisa Schultz pushing on at the front now. Schultz pushing on strongly. Great to see that work being done by Schultz from the pedal dancers. Alzat, Idzik, Bago, Narvaez, Arias, Lloyd, Hamilton, all in the chasing. Take a look at that now. The chasing pushing strongly from behind as Louisa Schultz pushes on. You can see on the bottom right left-hand corner of your screen, 2 groups now clearly formed on the road. This leading group that we are looking at here with Schultz just off the front of it, a chasing group behind now starting to come into our picture around the bend. You can see them squeezing onto the group and using the downhill section to come back into contention. So Schultz, Arias, Narvaez, Alzat, Idzik, Bago, Lloyd and Hamilton all pushing in as that group comes tightly together onto the second section of the climb. Category 2 coming into the second part of the climb. This is Category 3, and they are coming into the first part of the Wollongong climb. This is the polka dot banner. This is the start of the Wollongong climb for the first time for our Category 3 riders, and it's Catherine Montoya leading them out with Alta Marino, Alzat, Simkin, Hyde, De Silva all right up the front of this group, and it's looking like we've got two groups here on the road as well. Well, the pedal pals are on our screen. Ultramarino, Elos, Geraldo, Zabala and Simkin are the full squad. We've got three of those on the screen at the moment, and great to see Geneva Elos. She's back in action. She was on the GCC tour not long ago, putting in a sterling performance there, and she's got company in the room. She's got motivation and encouragement there. Geraldo pushing on, you can see the look of concentration, and this is because they have just come on to the first section of this Wollongong climb. Alta Marino up and out of the saddle. You can see the work and the effort being put in to stay with this front group. Now Alta Marino leading this out. Montoya, Bergin, Herrero, Hyde, De Silva all in this front group. So the stretch now on this Category 3 pack. Beltran is there. Takanis is looking like she's being distanced slightly just off the back of the group. Now, the riders ascend this climb twice in this race. There is very little flat land, however, anywhere on this course. And, well, our Category 1 riders all still together. And you can see on the top right-hand corner exactly what I mentioned about very little flat land, continually climbing, dropping and transitioning. It's a constantly bumpy course with very little flat. Well, Nellie Larson on our screens at the moment. Part and parcel of this leading group. Larson, strong rider from Sweden, part and parcel of the Ablock International squad, and great to see the range of nations coming together in some of these teams. So Ablock International, Holdcroft from the UK, Larson from Sweden, Penner from Canada, and McCarthy from New Zealand. So a real international mix coming together and racing together on the Sunday Race Club. So Penner, that Canadian rider, part and parcel of this group. Some of these sections on this course through Wollongong City are very steep. We just saw 7% on this small rise. Riders constantly having to pay attention to the racing on this course because of these constant gradient changes. It's not like they just need to concentrate on sitting in the pack. They really need to be thinking about the gradient changes and watching for attacks here, because this is a type of course where we would expect the attacks to go on the climb, on that Wollongong climb. However, we do indeed see attacks go elsewhere on this climb, on this course, because of the nature of the terrain. Well, Maria Holdcroft, part and parcel of this pack. She's pushing on here. Cornelia Engstrom is here as well. Back in May, it was Catherine Fuhr who took the win in Category 1 from Amelia Velt. Kolczynski, Soderstrom and Bjarhead rounded out the top 5. Now, those riders will want to repeat that performance today, and it was a quick race in May, 56 minutes 10 seconds, but not the fastest performance on the course, because back in March, this was the March final as well. 54 minutes 36 seconds, and that time it was Catherine Fuhr as well who took the win here, but Koinstinen, Colombia and Bruni were just 4 seconds back. Well, our Category 1 riders go through the first sprint of the day, the City Beach Sprint, for the first time. And the Category 1 pack are not in the mix. In fact, they're sitting around 25th downwards. Van Shaw setting the fastest time from the Sunday crew in Category 2, 24.987 seconds, just ahead of Embring, Wagner, Hill, Montgomery, Vittori, Hermansen, Mabin, London, McAlpine, rounding out the top 10, all in Category 2. So that Category 2 pack moving through the first sprint section the fastest. But I say pack because they really were a pack. And taking a look at the watts per kilo, just Van Shaw, the rider who set the fastest time, picking up the sprint with an average watts per kilo of 6. The rest of the group rolling through at around 3.5. So that tells me that the pack is rolling together. And in fact, all the packs are rolling together. Nobody really pushing for the sprint itself. Maybe that's because the Wollongong climb comes so close afterwards at 9.7 kilometres. This is Category 2. They are off the top of the climb, and it's Bago who is out front. Alzat, Francis Hamilton, Navrez, Idzik and Aureus. It's a big group of Category 4 riders who are still in contention after the first ascent of the Wollongong climb today. So Category 4 are up and over the Wollongong climb. Category 3 are getting there, close to the top. This is the main descent now, the descent just as long, and then they will go back through the city before they go up the Wollongong climb one more time. Well, Alzat on our screen. She's in that leading group, and she's now pushing on the descent as well. Bago is the rider out front. Idzik, Alzat, Hamilton, Francis, Navrez and Schultz. Aureus is there as well. They're a strong group of Category 4 riders, and that strong group of Category 4 riders still in contention. You can see on the bottom left of the screen the gaps back, and on the bottom left of this screen you can see where our Category 3 riders are catching the back of the Category 4 race field. Now, in this lead group, Belton is on the front. Ultramarino is here. Bergin, Montoya, De Silva and Alzat. This is a strong group of Category 3 riders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 riders looking like they really are in contention there. As on the left-hand side of your screen, Jeremy Prado pops up, having just dropped off the front of the Category 2 pack on the first section of the climb. We know she's a strong rider. Can she hold this through the second part of the climb? That is going to be the question, because Lundin, Wagner, Kong are all coming very, very fast behind. And I think very shortly she is going to have company. Well, no company at the moment for Bergin at the front as she continues to push on. Well, maybe she has, because Beltran is there as well. These two are going to go underneath the polka dot banner first in Category 3. So Lorena Beltran and Holly Bergin going up and over the top of the climb together. Catherine Montoya is there as well. So is Altamirano. De Silva not far off the pace. I think we're going to see that group come together, and we're going to have a leading group of 5. Carolina Alzat, she's 14 seconds back. The question is, can she make it a group of 6? Well, Bergin and Beltran are going to push on here. We can see we're starting to get groups of 2 on the road. So Bergin and Beltran and Montoya now coming together at the front. So a group of 3 at the front. These are the chase 2 behind, Ultramarino and De Silva. I think we're going to see these 2 get back on to the group, and we're going to see a leading group of 5 in that Category 3 race. Category 3 and Category 4 leaders now up and over the top of the Wollongong climb for the first time. This is Category 2, and Prado's still out front after the transition onto the second part of the climb. We can see it's currently at around 8% as Prado comes up and on to our screens. Now, Prado, a strong rider. She's had 2 5th places this month, and it looks like she wants to do better than that today, and she's pushing for the win. So Prado really nailing her colours to the mast early in the July final, pushing on the front. Now, in the chase group, Van Shaw, Wagner, Kong, Vittori, McAlpine, really strong riders. So the rest of the group you can see on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, strung out behind. Lundin and Embring and Hermansen are still in the mix. I think we are going to see a large group of Category 2 riders descend off the other side, and potentially it will Prado back in. And if Dana Wagner's got anything to do with that, she will be part and parcel of that group. She is a strong rider. She's taken a first place this month in qualifier 2 of July. That was when we were in Belgium. Short, sharp, very steep climbs in Belgium, reminiscent of what we're seeing in Wollongong today. So she should go well on this course. So Wagner, McAlpine, Walkenhurst, Kong, Lundin and Hermansen all in the chase group, and they're chasing Jeremy Prado. Category 1 now at 9.6 kilometres. They were the last group of riders away today from the start pen in the July final. The polka dot banner, they go under, indicating the start of the Wollongong climb. This is the first time up, and we're going to see some action on the front. Kulczynski, I expect, is going to be right up there, but Bruni is the rider on the front at the moment. Kalman paying close attention. Kulczynski, McCarthy, Koinstinen, Field, Van Hove, all in the mix as this group of Category 1 riders starts the ascent of the Wollongong climb here in Australia. Well, Kalman on our screen, and you can see the effort being put in already to stay with this group. She needs to dig hard, and she needs to stay in the pack, because this pack are going to start pushing hard, and you can start to see the stretch on the group. This is the first part of the Wollongong climb. It goes up, it goes over, and it comes back down again on the other side before we start the main ascent. For those of you who have not seen the screens before, take a look up that top right hand corner. It gives you a really clear indication of what is about to happen. So riders pushing on. Catherine Fuhr now coming to the fore. She's at the front of this pack. Merle Bruni has gone with her. So has Kristen Kulczynski. These three riders pushing as we're in with Fuhr now. And you can see she's up and out of the saddle, concentrating hard and pushing hard on this first climb. They're going to go up and over the first part of this climb and drop down the other side. So Bruni, Kulczynski and Fuhr. Jacinia Menendez is coming fast behind. She's pushing on. Asulia Kasani, McCarthy, Field and Bjarhead are the riders in the second part of the group. Now, Bjarhead had a great ride here back in May, taking 5th spot on the podium. Can she close the group down? Well, closing the group down is what these riders are trying to do at the moment. Kasani, you can see on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen at the moment, absolutely digging deep to try and close this down. McCarthy and Menendez are ahead of her. Those two are also working hard. Tilly Field, Giovanni, Bjarhead, all of these riders pushing, because you can see the line of riders stretched in this Category 1 race. They stretch and then they concertina back, and the downhill section allowing the riders to snowball back onto the group. This is the group behind, and it's Merle Bruni, the German rider, pushing at the front here. Kulczynski is giving chase. Fuhr is sat on her wheel. Menendez made the connection back to the wheels of those two riders. Holdcroft, McCarthy, Giovanni, they are the riders behind. Are we going to see a split here before we get to the top of the first ascent of the Wollongong climb? Or are we going to see a strong group go over? I think we're going to start to see some splits, and it's all going to be down to the time gaps as to whether they can come back together in Category 1. Category 1 working hard now on the Wollongong climb. There is not as much of a split in the group at the moment as we've seen in some of the earlier race categories. So Category 1, bottom left, you can see the large group of yellow dots on the screen indicating where our riders are. But it's Merle Bruni who is at the front of the group at the moment. Close contention from Kulczynski, Fuhr and Menendez. But it's looking like those riders are just trying to stay together and stay in contention rather than reel Bruni back in. Jacinia Menendez on our screen at the moment. She's the rider here alongside Kulczynski and Fuhr. This chasing group of three with Bruni up the road. Well, Bruni is extending her lead slightly at the moment. It's now out to 6 seconds. So Bruni is indeed the teammate of Catherine Fuhr in the Sweat Sensation squad. Menendez is part and parcel of the Afito skier squad. She's had a 3rd and a 5th this month. She really is on some great form. So Jacinia Menendez, the Colombian rider, on some good form at the moment. And you can see that she's pushing here with Fuhr and Kulczynski, trying to keep the gap to Bruni within manageable time frames. So Bruni on the front, having a storming climb here today. Kolczynski, Menezes and Fua, the three chase riders. We've now got a gap of around 15, 16 seconds to the chasing group. And it is a chasing group because we've got Bassoni, Koinstonen, McCarthy, Holdcroft, all in the mix. So those riders riding strongly, but chasing around 15 seconds back. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens when these riders go over the top of the climb and get onto the descent. When all the riders are over the top of the climb and get onto the descent, well, going under the banner first on the Wollongong climb is going to be Mel Bruni. Catherine Fua has closed the gap. Now, this is dangerous because this is two teammates from the Sweat Sensations together at the moment. So Bruni and Fua both together at the top of the climb. Bruni setting the fastest time, 5 minutes and 7 seconds, 0.959. Just 0.2 of a second back is Catherine Fua, her teammate in that Sweat Sensations squad. Jacinia Menezes from Afito Skier, Kolczynski from the Peak Performers, Holdcroft from Ablock International, Koinstonen, McCarthy and Bassoni. Those riders coming through in the top 8. Velt just joining them in 9th. Bjarhead in 10th. Van Hove, Field, Larson, Sidlick, Giovanni, Kalman and Manshandi. 17 riders now over the top of the climb and on the descent in Category 1. Category 1 on the descent. This is Category 2 and they're coming up for the 16-kilometre mark. So they are well and truly now transitioning through the Wollongong city itself before they reach the climb again. Now, the second ascent of the Wollongong climb, it comes at 26.3 kilometres into the race. And you can see all 4 of our start race teams on the screens at the moment. So Category 1 at 13.4 kilometres. Category 2 leaders at 16.3. Category 3 at 18.1. And Category 4 are at 19.5 kilometres. And it's a big group of Category 4 riders. 7 riders in that leading group in Category 4. It's looking like we've got 5 riders in Category 3 at the front. Category 2, well, they've got some Category 3 riders for company as well, but it's a smaller group of around 5 or 6 riders. Category 1, well, it's still Fua and Bruni out front, but Menezes closing in now. It's going to be a group of 3 at the front there. So Jacinia Menezes joining Fua and Bruni. Kolczynski around 17 seconds back at the moment on the descent. She's not got long till she's got company though, because McCarthy and Koinstonen are coming fast from behind. So all of our race categories are through the first climb up the Wollongong climb and now transitioning towards the second ascent that comes at 26.3 kilometres into this 35-kilometre race. We're in with Category 3 on the main screen at the moment, and you can see a leading group of 5 riders. So Alta Marino, Bergin, Beltran, Montoya and De Silva. These 5 riders now at the 19-kilometre mark. They are 33 minutes of racing under their belts. And I tell you, Alta Marino, you can see how hard this rider has been working. Her heart rate currently sat at 193, 192. This is a strong race performance. And that is what it takes to win the Sunday Race Club. But it's the July final today, and these riders not just riding for individual podiums but for team podiums as well, and that added team competition really does push our riders to excel. Now, Alta Marino currently leading this Category 3 race, and they will shortly be working their way into the top riders of Category 4. You can see Bridget Bremner, 14 seconds up the road, currently lying in 12th position in that Category 4 race. Juliet Narvaez in 11th, a little bit further up the road again. So they are indeed well and truly working their way through the earlier starting race field. Category 2 leaders now sweeping across the bridge that we saw at the start that takes them into Wollongong City. This is that kicker climb that climbs to around 7%. And this is a real mixing group here because we've got the leaders in Category 2 mixed with 4 riders from Category 3. And this, I think, on this climb is where we'll see these Category 3 riders just drop off the back of this Category 2 group. So Category 2 in green, Category 3, the earlier starting riders in those blue jerseys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders, I think, in that leading Category 2 group. So strong performances. Prado, Wagner, Victori, Kong, Hermansen, McAlpine, Van Shaw, all in this leading Category 2 group. Strong performances from our women in Category 2. We're jumping back in with Category 1 and we're in with Kristen Kolczynski. Now, a group of 3 riders down the road. Bruni, Fua and Menendez are 15 seconds down the road. Kolczynski here on our screen has a group of riders, a group of 3 riders coming up onto her wheel. So Holdcroft, McCarthy and Coinstonen 6 seconds back. And the question for Kolczynski now is, does she wait for those 3 riders to join her and roll as a group and work together? Or does she try and stay clear of them on her own and put in a time trialing effort to the next climb? Well, she's pretty much 15 seconds down on the leading 3 of Fua, Bruni and Menendez. Fua and Bruni from that Sweat Sensation squad. Menendez from the Afito Skier squad. So 2 different teams represented right at the front of the race. This is the chase group. We're in with Maria Holcroft. She has Amelia Van Hove and Nellie Larson keeping her company. Well, actually, she doesn't because they are looking like they are just further back down the road. Apologies there. But McCarthy, Holdcroft and Coinstonen are these 3 riders here we are looking at on our screen. These 3 riders are part and parcel of the chase group. You can see Kolczynski just up ahead of them on the road. So they have sight of Kolczynski. Van Hove and Bassoni and Velt are the chase group behind them on the road. And again, that's around a 15-second gap. So some consistent gaps being put into the Category 1 race field as we watch the Category 3 leaders come up on to the back of Bremner and Narvaez in Category 4. They will shortly be working their way into the top 10 on the road. Well, the leaders on the road at the moment, those Category 4 leaders, they were our first race field out of the start pen today on the Sunday Race Club July final. Category 3 started 5 minutes behind them, and they really are now working their way through that race field. So Narvaez and Bremner, the 2 riders they have just caught, and we've got Bergin, Altamirano, Beltran, De Silva, part and parcel of that leading group of Category 3 riders. And you can see now the differences on the right hand side of your screen. This is the leading group in the Category 4 race. 6 riders now at the front of that Category 4 race in the pack. They are at 23 kilometres. They're still a short way off of the Wollongong climb again, but on the left-hand side of your screen, those are the leaders in the Category 3 race. They are at 22 kilometres, 1.1 kilometres behind the leaders in the Category 4 race. I think we're going to see them catch the leaders in the Category 4 race before this race is complete. Well, let's see if that comes to fruition. So, Category 4 leaders through the City Beach Sprint for the second time, not really looking to contend that at all, as Arias, Hamilton, Alzat, Bago, Izik, Schultz, Lloyd, Francis Fielder and Narvaez go through. Those are the top 10 riders on the road at the moment, but Category 3 in close contention. These are the leaders in Category 2, and this is a big group of riders. Well, Vittori leading it with McAlpine, Kong, Lundin, Prado, Wagner, Hermansen. They are rolling through and continuing to change position. Eight riders, it is looking like, currently leading the Category 2 race here on the July final of the Sunday Race Club. This is going to be such a strong race for the win in this Category 2 race. Wendy McAlpine, she's on our screen at the moment, part and parcel of this leading group, sat nicely in this bunch, rolling at 21.3 kilometres into the race. You can see the Category 3 and Category 4 riders ahead of them on that bottom left-hand shot at the moment, as we see them sweep round and just kick in the city. This is a little kicker here at 7%, so McAlpine up and out of the saddle, ensuring she stays with the group. Wagner, Van Shaw, Prado, McAlpine, Vittori, Lundin, Kong and Hermansen all in the mix here. Prado right on the front, but nobody wanting to lose the group. Well, losing the group is not the plan for any of these 8 riders in the leading group of this Category 2 race field. Eight riders at the front of the Category 2 race field. There's not 8 riders at the front of the Category 1 race field. Wow, that is 3 riders at the front of the Category 1 race field. So Bruni, Fua and Menezes, the 3 riders at the front of the Category 1 race, have 20 seconds to Kulczynski. And then, well, Kulczynski still on her own. The chase group have not caught her. In fact, Kulczynski has put in a bigger gap on that chase group. They've backed off of the pace by the look of it. So Holdcroft, McCarthy, and Koinstinen, the riders at chase at the moment. In fact, it's looking like Van Hove has joined them as well. So the chase group getting bigger by the moment because McCarthy, Holdcroft, Koinstinen and Velt. Bjarhead has also made the mix too. So really interesting to see the mix of this group. The 2 groups have come together towards the back. So we have 3 riders out front, 1 rider chasing, and then this group. This is the race for 5th place, the final spot on the podium. Take a look at the number of riders in that group. Holdcroft, Sidlick, Field, Larson, Koinstinen, Van Hove, Bassoni. It's a strong race field. It's really hotting up in this Category 1 race. So 3 riders out front, 1 rider chasing as we drop in with Roberta Bassoni. The fan is blowing hard on her as she continues to push at the front of this race. The next climb, the next ascent of the Wollongong climb is going to be so important in terms of positions in this Category 1 race because this group, well, they are rolling at the moment and rolling strongly. They are chasing the woman on the left-hand side of your screen. That's Kristen Kulczynski. She's 16 seconds down the road ahead of them. And she's chasing Fua, Bruni and Menezes, who are 16 seconds ahead of her. So the Category 1 race completely in pieces at the moment. I think it's the best probably way to say it. We've got 3 riders out front, Bruni, Fua and Menezes. 20 seconds up the road from the rider we are in with at the moment, Kulczynski. 20 seconds behind her, probably somewhere in the distance of that shot, if you are eagle-eyed, are the chase group being led by Amelia Velt and Mary-Kate McCarthy. They are chasing hard behind and some way behind this group of riders who are currently the leaders on the road at the moment and the leaders of the first race field who went underway today. So 6 riders currently leading the Category 4 race. Bago, Idzik, Schultz, Arias, Hamilton, and Narvaez is leading the chase group. So 6 riders coming in to the climb here for the second time for this Category 4 race field. Alzat is on the front here, really riding strongly. In fact, the pedal dancers are really riding strongly. So Schultz and Bago, part and parcel of those pedal dancers in the mix here. So is Araya. So the pedal dancers have 3 riders at the front of this race field. Natalia Idzik, one of the Petit 4 riders, with Kristen Hamilton, she also from the Petit 4 squad. So it is a really interesting team competition lining up in Category 4. Well, back to Category 1, and Bruni, Menezes and Fua are still locked together. They are about to come through the City Beach Sprint for the second time. It's currently Angie Solorzano from the Strong Girls who holds the fastest time through this sprint. So it's going to be interesting to see whether any of these Category 1 riders drop into top spot, but I don't think they're going to. So Angie Solorzano from the Strong Girls continues to hold the fastest time through the sprint. At the moment, I say, because these are live times and not all of our riders in all of the race fields are through this sprint section. But 26.150 seconds. 0.8 of a second faster than Van Shaw from the Category 2 race. Wagner, Vittori, Prado, McAlpine and Hermansen also in there from that Category 2 race. Gina de Gracia setting the fastest time in Category 3. Sarah Lundin and Vicky Whitelaw from Category 2 rounding out the top 10. Interestingly, Fua, Bassoni, Menenzes, part and parcel of the leading group of Category 1, coming in slower than that top 10. But we have just had, as I said, this is live results. We've just had the chase group go through from Category 1, and I can confirm that the chase group in Category 1 are moving faster than the leading group. So they have gone through. So Marlene Biarhead has gone through in 5th place overall on the City Beach Sprint. The fastest rider from Category 1, Nellie Larson, also in the top 10, 2 riders, part and parcel of the third group on the road and moving faster than the front group. So as it's all hotting up and coming towards the latter half of this Sunday Race Club Women's Final today, we're back in with our Category 4 leaders. We've got Idzik, Hamilton and Alzat Valencia on our screens at the moment, and you can see the concentration here because they're up and over the first part of this Wollongong City climb for the final time. Schultz, Alzat, Bago, Idzik and Hamilton, the leading 5 riders now in this Category 4 race. They've dropped Arias. So Arias was part and parcel of this group. She's now been dropped on the climb, leaving a group of 5 riders. So Bago and Hamilton. Hamilton on our screen. They are the riders at the top here. But, well, take a look at this. This is Category 2. They are catching and moving through the race fields, the earlier starting race fields, moving through those Category 3 riders about to come onto the climb as well. So now we have Category 2, Category 3 and Category 4 leaders all on this climb together. Prado, Van Shaw, Vittori, Wagner, London, Hermansen and McAlpine all in the mix here with Prado as well. This is a strong group, 8 riders deep of Category 2 racers. These are so strong, this leading 8. Any one of these riders could win this race today. Kong, Hermansen, Vittori, Van Schor, Lundin, Wagner, Prado, all on this climb. Now the gradient kicking to 9%. They're going to head up this first section of the climb. They're going to descend the other side and transition into the main part of the Wollongong City climb. This Wollongong climb coming up here for the second time. It's the last segment on this course. Once they get to the top of the climb, it's a 6.4 kilometre run into the finish, and it's highly likely that we start to see riders sweeping each other up and mass sprints towards the finish. Well, towards the finish at the moment, going on to the steeper sections of the climb, are the leaders in category 3, and it's Holly Bergin, the first rider to put the attack in. The rider from Yorkshire pushing on as she goes up the climb here. So Bergin in 1, Alta Marino in 2, Montoya in 3, De Silva in 4, and Beltran in 5. Claudia Hyde in 6th position. She is off the back of the group. So 5 riders still in contention in category 3 as Holly Bergin leads the attack here on the Wollongong climb. Bergin pushing on at the front of category 3. Bago pushing on at the front of category 4. Bago now with 8 seconds back. You can see the chase group. So Bago 8 seconds clear of Alzat, Hamilton, Schultz, Idzik. 4 riders chasing. So 1 rider clear, 4 riders chasing. But it's a long run to the finish line from the top of this climb. And I think Katie Bago is going to need more than 8 seconds on the chase group to stay clear. So Bago, Idzik, Alzat, Schultz, Hamilton. I think we're going to see these 5 riders all come together at some point before the finish line. I would not discount a sprint in category 4 because these riders are so well matched. Bago, Alzat, Hamilton, Schultz, Idzik. 4 seconds separating them, as on the left-hand side of your screen, Holly Bergin with Lorena Beltran ride themselves into 6th and 7th position on the road. Just the 5 leaders ahead of them from category 4. And then category 3, who started 5 minutes behind our category 4 racers, may well take up the mantle of leaders on the road. So our racers now, category 2, category 3 and category 4, all on the Wollongong climb for the final time today. Category 1 on the top left-hand corner of your screen, well, they are about to see the polka dot banner. In fact, there it is, just around the corner. Menenzes, Fua and Bruni, the 3 leaders of category 1. Go underneath the polka dot banner to start the Wollongong climb for the final time. They are still being chased by Kolchinsky. She's still around 17 seconds back, but here we go. Category 3, Beltran caught Bergin. Bergin now chasing Beltran as Beltran comes up onto the back of the leaders of category 4, and she starts to go past the chase group of 4. She's just got Katie Bago ahead of her, and you can see Schultz jumping onto the back of Beltran's wheel, unable to go with the pace that Beltran is setting the category 3 rider as she goes past the entire group of 5 leaders in category 4 to take first spot on the road today at 28.2 kilometres into this 35-kilometre race. Well, Holly Bergin chasing hard, Bergin chasing Beltran. She too has now passed the 5 riders in category 4. So has Catherine Montoya, 3rd place in that category 3 race at the moment. So Beltran, Bergin and Montoya, the leaders in category 3, they're coming up to the polka dot banner signifying the top of the climb for the final time. These 3 riders are going to go over the top first this time. These are the leaders in the category 3 race. 3 riders side by side. Montoya, Beltran and Bergin, the 3 riders going under the polka dot banner first. In fact, it is Lorena Beltran setting the fastest time so far, 7 minutes 14 seconds. Now, in comparison, our Category 1 riders are around the 5-minute mark, so you can see the difference between Category 1 and Category 3 performances on the Wollongong climb. Well, a little bit further back down the climb, but not too far, is German Prado. She is climbing the best today out of the Category 2 race field, but they are not far behind. And it's highly likely that this group will come back together again. So Prado in 1, Wagner, London, Kong and Hermansen doing the chasing. Van Shaw and McAlpine are in there as well. And look at the effort on our riders' faces as they push towards the top of the Wollongong climb for the final time today. It's Prado who's going to see that polka dot banner first. She's going to go underneath the banner, but the rest of this group are right on her heels. Kong, Vittori, Wagner, Hermansen, Van Shaw. They are chasing and chasing hard. Prado is going to have a tough job staying clear of the chase group because the chase group, I think, are going to work together to bring her back in. So 1 rider out front, 6 riders chasing in this Category 2 race field. So 7 riders in contention, still in contention in Category 2 as they now move towards the final 6.4 kilometres of this race today. Well, whilst the riders in Category 2 move towards the final 6 kilometres, Category 1 are still on the Wollongong climb for the final time, and it is Fua, Menezes and Bruni, the 3 riders who are still together. So the 3 leaders in Category 1 side by side as Mel Bruni comes to the fore at the front. Fua is there as well. Now, let's not forget, Bruni and Fua are teammates. So the 2 teammates from the Sweat Sensations pushing on at the front of the race. The rider from Afito Skier, Jacinia Menezes, the Colombian rider, she's had a 3rd and a 5th this month, part and parcel of that Afito Skier squad, doing a cracking job of staying with them, but she is indeed a class rider. If we go a little bit further back down the field, well, we are looking for Kristen Kolczynski. I can't see her at the moment, but I do have Mina Koinstinen. There's a lot of riders in the way here, but Koinstinen, Holdcroft and Bassoni, Velt were the chasing group. Koinstinen is the rider to have pushed on the climb. So Koinstinen is there as well. Holdcroft, Bassoni, Velt at 7 seconds from Koinstinen's wheel as Koinstinen continues to move and push. So on the left-hand side of your screen, the 3 leaders in Category 1, Bruni, Menezes and Fua. On the right-hand side of your screen, 200 metres back, Mina Koinstinen looks like she is now leading the charge. So Mina Koinstinen leading the chase group in Category 1 as the riders push on at the front. These riders working really hard on this final climb. Everybody wants a top 5 position. Everybody wants to really push here and motor through. But who is going to take top spot today? Who is going to take top team? It's going to be interesting to find out as the riders head towards the polka dot banner of the Wollongong climb for the last time. It's 3 riders side by side in Category 1 who go under the banner. Fua, Bruni and Menezes. Nothing can split them at the moment. Is this going to come down to a sprint in Category 1? Well, just confirmation there that Catherine Fua is the rider in the group of 3 to set the fastest time, 5 minutes 30 seconds. Half a second back to Menezes and Bruni, those 3 riders in Category 1. Interestingly, strong time for Prado, 48 seconds back. Prado in Category 2, Van Shaw, Wagner, Hermansen, Vittori and Kong there as well as London at the moment rounding out the top 10. Now, as we said before on the sprint, these are live results at the moment. So expecting when, there you go, updated as the group of Category 1 riders come through. And you can see Coinston losing 11 seconds to the top three that climb. Holdcroft 12, Velt 15, Bassoni 16, McCarthy 20 seconds. It's looking like Kristen Kolczynski is no longer with us. Well, hoping everything is all right for Kolczynski. It's a difficult time of morning to race for our US riders. I think, if I'm right, it's around a 3 a.m. alarm clock for Kolczynski to warm up and get on the bike for the Sunday Race Club. So there is some serious commitment from our US riders for riding and racing in this women's race. So Beltran and Bergin, currently the two leaders on the road at the moment, leading the Category 3 race. Catherine Montoya just 2 seconds behind, so very, very shortly we will see her, in fact, take a look behind, because the leaders in Category 4 are with the leaders in Category 3. This big group rolling together. So leaders in Category 4, Louisa Schultz currently leading, but she's got Alzat Bago Hamilton for company. They are just a couple of seconds off the back of the group. Bergin and Beltran currently leading Category 3, but Montoya is there as well. So this group of leaders in Category 3 and Category 4 all together at the moment at 32.8 kilometres. So they're coming up for 2 kilometres to go. So it's looking like we are going to see the leaders in Category 3 and the leaders in Category 4 all come towards that finish line together. Well, not much further back, 400 metres back, are the leaders of Category 2. And we've got in the mix here Wagner Vittori, Prado Van Shaw, Lundin, as well as Kong. It's a big group of Category 2 riders rolling in towards the finish, and they're going to start sweeping up those markers in the Category 3 and Category 4 race. Now we're going to need to be careful, because it may well be that we start to see big packs start to roll on the run into the finish. And if those earlier starting race fields can hang in the back of this pack of Category 2 riders, we're going to see a lot of riders come together for the finish. Well, the finish isn't too far down the road. The leaders on the road at the moment, Category 3 and 4, are only 400 metres ahead of the leaders in Category 2. There is 1.5 kilometres to go at the moment for Bergin, Schultz, Beltran and Montoya. Hamilton, Alzat and Idzik in Category 4 are a little bit further back down the road. So Category 1 now at 31.5 kilometres into this race. The leading three, absolutely nothing to separate them. Fua, Menezes and Bruni side by side on the final run into the finish today. They are absolutely motoring, these three. Nothing could split them on the climb. Fua, Menezes and Bruni, I think we're going to see a push on these short, sharp bumps. This is a short, sharp bump. It kicks to 12%, and we can see a bit of a push at the moment at the front, but very, very quickly being closed down. So the three riders side by side as Bruni, Menezes and Fua come up over the overpass. The next main section is the climb over the water into the city towards the finish line. Will we see an early attack there? Will we see that decide the race? Well, this is going to be interesting. On the right-hand side of your screen, this is Bergin, this is Schultz. These are the leaders in Category 3 and Category 4 heading on to the bridge over the water. They've got a left-hand corner, they've got a right-hand corner. Then the gradient goes up, heading towards the finish line today. 300 metres back are the leaders in the Category 2 race, but this is the run in to the finish now. 500 metres for Schultz and Bergin. They are not in the same race. Louisa Schultz currently leading Category 4. Holly Bergin currently leading Category 3. Lorena Beltran with Catherine Montoya around 15 seconds back behind Bergin. It's looking like Alzat is the next Category 4 rider. They are in the group behind, but I don't think these two riders are now going to get caught as we see the run in towards the finish. Bergen kicks at 5.8 watts per kilo. She's going to come round the bend. Shortly, she's going to see the finish line. Beltran is coming hard from behind, but can Bergen make this? She's got 200 metres to hold. That's the UCI banner at the front. Holly Bergen may well be able to take the first win today on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club July final. She's our Category 3 rider. She's pushed on from Beltran. Beltran's coming hard, but it's going to be Holly Bergen today, your winner on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club July final for Category 3. Well, the race is on as Bergen takes the win in Category 3. Category 2, hard behind the wheels as this is Category 2. And it's Sarah London who's pushed on, but Van Shaw and Vittori are coming. But London takes the win. Van Shaw and Vittori come in behind. So congratulations go to Sarah London in Category 2 for the win. Lam Kong picking up second place, just pipping Prado on the line literally by 0.01 of a second. So 3 race fields already in. Sarah London from Lancong, Jermaine Prado, Serena Vittori and Dana Wagner in Category 2. Holly Bergen from Lorena Beltran, Alta Marino, Montoya and Da Silva in Category 3. Schultz taking the win from Idzik, Alzat, Hamilton and Bago in Category 4. Well, we are in with Category 1. They have 1.2 kilometres to go. And yes, Bruni, Fua and Menenzes are still locked in this 3-way battle. Now, Fua and Bruni are indeed teammates. Justina Menendez, part and parcel of the Afito skier squad. Fua and Bruni, part and parcel of the Sweat Sensations squad. So it's going to be interesting to see whether the two teammates attack Menenzes or whether Menenzes tries to go clear. But it is going to be a tactical run into the finish for these 3 riders with 800 metres to go. The bridge now starting to come into the fore. They're going to take the left, they're going to take the right, and then the climb is going to take place. And I'm sure we're going to see an attack and a push on the climb. And will it be Catherine Fua or Mel Bruni who goes for it? On the right-hand side of your screen, just 400 metres back, is the chase group. Holdcroft, Coinston and Velt are part and parcel of that. So 3 riders out front, 3 riders behind. The gradient goes up in front of them, and Catherine Fua and Mel Bruni come to the front. It's Fua who is pushing. Menenzes is responding, but Bruni kicks her sprint. She unleashes the sprint already at 10 watts per kilo. So Mel Bruni goes. Catherine Fua now responding behind. Where is Menenzes? Menenzes is there as well, but the kick is not as strong. So Bruni and Fua neck and neck as Fua comes over the top of teammate Bruni. The UCI banner comes into sight as Fua digs another gear. 11 watts per kilo from Fua. She is going to ensure that she takes the win here today from Mel Bruni. That's the UCI banner, and your winner, Catherine Fua, today on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, Category 1, July final. So Catherine Fua comes over the line in 1, Bruni in 2. Menenzes in 3. This is the run for 4th and 5th, and Holdcroft and Coinston with Velt. They are pushing here. So Holdcroft pushing, so is Coinston, and Coinston's at 9 watts per kilo. Velt is on her wheels. So is Holdcroft, but Holdcroft is going to hold this, I think. Well, she's still got 200 metres to go. So can Maria Holdcroft hold this for 4th place today, or can Meansner Coinston come up and take the points away? No, I think this is going to be Holdcroft from Coinston. So Maria Holdcroft takes 4th place in Category 1 today. Mina Coinston takes 5. Amelia Velt comes across the line for 6. And Roberta Bassoni, I think, is going to take 7th place. So your results today, what a fast race. 56 minutes and 8 seconds, the winning time. Not the fastest time on the course, but a fabulous race today. Catherine Fua from the Sweat Sensations taking top spot today in Category 1. Mel Bruni, her teammate, taking 2nd spot, just 1.2 seconds back. Jacenia Menenzes, well, she was part and parcel of that 3-rider breakaway for so long, taking 3rd place today. Holdcroft winning the sprint for 4th from Mina Coinston and Amelia Velt. McCarthy, Bassoni and Van Hove Nellie Larson rounding out the top 10 in Category 1. Sarah Lundin taking the win in Category 2 from Lam Kong and Jermaine Prado. In Category 3, we saw the win from Holly Bergin, from Lorena Beltran and Alta Marino. And in Category 4, it was Louisa Schultz from Natalia Idzik and Isabel Alzat. Well, what can I say? That race in Australia, that Wollongong course, has not disappointed today in the July final. The team competition is going to be very close in all 4 of our race fields. For those live results and for that team competition, head over to mywhoosh.com and click on results, and all that information will be with there. It's been fabulous to have you with me today. My name's Emma Martin, and it's been an absolute pleasure putting words to the action for that women's July final here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Thank you ever so much for viewing. Thank you ever so much to our riders for racing. Phenomenal performances. Thank you to our production team behind the scenes for all the hard work that goes together for putting this out for you, our viewers. Stay with us because the men's race is going to be up shortly. But until then, stay safe, enjoy your riding. We will see you shortly. Goodbye.